Grover Cleveland Hale was a husband, a father, a doting grandfather, and a man who loved the Lord. He lived a life filled with love, committed to his family, his church, and his community. On August 29, 2009, the life of Grover Hale was tragically ended, and the lives of those close to him were changed forever. This is the story of Grover Cleveland Hale, told by those who loved him, mourn his loss, and cherish his memory.
He was just a good, godly Christian man, and everybody knew it. And I mean, he really lived a good Christian life. Every time I'd come over here, I'd help him do something out in the yard or in the shop. He'd want me to look at something. He'd say, "Son, I want you to look at this. I don't want you to do it. Just come look at it." And I'd wind around doing it for him, you know. And I enjoyed doing that.
He's just the best father in the world, Christian man. I've never heard him cuss. He don't cuss, and I always looking for something to do. He'll wear my brother out. My brother's mechanically minded, and I'm just used to see what I'm doing. Hey, he's mechanically minded, and he'd wear him out. He'd get him over here and ask him to do something, and my daddy, then Mike would end up doing it most of the time, but Daddy would help him.
He was my neighbor for 8 years. I've known him at least 40 years. He loved life. He loved his family. He just loved everything about living. He'd come up our house just about every day. I'd get home tired, just getting out of the truck, riding that lawnmower, drive up out there, sit down and won't talk. We'd talk 2 or 3 hours. He started hunting his wife then.
He was a good, kind, loving man. He'd do anything in the world for you. You could call him day or night and say, "Miss Hale, I need something. I got it out there in my shop. I'll find it for you if you need it. Just come get it." He'd give you the shirt off his back if you need it, even though he did need it.
He was a good employee. He come to work every day. He was there on time. He worked over. He was the type of employee that you didn't even know was there, because the only way we know employees there, those are the ones we have trouble out of. And we would sit every day and eat lunch and just talk about stuff. We talked about the stock market. And I can tell you, he was one of my best friends down there at the Riverdale plant. And even after he left the plant, we still saw each other.
I knew GC about between 35 and 40 years. He's been a member of this church ever since I came here as a little boy. He had just such a positive outlook on life. Everything was positive and upbeat. And he was just a loving person. Everybody he met, they fell in love with him, and he just made you feel good. And he was the type of person that no matter what you were going through, you could go and talk to him, and he was an understanding person. He didn't judge. He was not a judgmental type person. He listened to people, and he just had a very real compassion for other people.
The family member who has had to endure the most pain and suffering is Dorothy Hale. After being together for over 57 years, she is literally lost without her soulmate.
I married him when I was 16. He was 17. Well, we were together. He never went away without me. And church together, and anywhere he went, I went. We always had a good marriage. Always close. We always went to the gym, and then he'd come home and take a nap, and then go out in the yard and start working and cutting grass and planting flowers. And he would come in and help me. If I didn't feel good, he would vacuum for me and just do things for me. He was a very good husband.
On August 29, 2009, while cutting grass on his Cub Cadet RZT mower near the roadway, the mower overturned on an incline. The heavy mower crushed and killed him.
We come home, we'd been gone all day that Saturday. We went grocery shopping, and we went to Arby's and ate breakfast that morning, sitting there laughing, a bunch of us, at the table. And we came home, and he took a nap. He went out and started cutting grass. So he rang the doorbell, and he said, "Honey, please, green tea." I took a green tea out there. After we sat out there about an hour, he said, well, I guess I'll go and finish the grass. And I was like, go in and take a shower and shampoo my hair. So I did that.
It was about 7:20. One of my good friends called me. He lives and breathes scanners. And anyway, he called me on my cell phone and said, Darryl, have you heard anything about anybody getting, getting hurt or something on the lawnmower, around your daddy's place out there? And I said, no. And he said, well, I was hoping it wouldn't, your daddy, I know he cuts grass all the time. And he said, well, Darryl, I was listening to the scanner, and the Harris County, paramedics said that there's a guy that they pronounced him, dead on the scene from an accident on a lawnmower. And I said, well, I don't know, who told you that, because it's still, I was trying to, say, I know it's not my daddy. And then I said, well, let me go, let me call, so I called him, mother answered the phone.
So Darryl, my son, called me. He was at work. And he said, Mother, what's Daddy doing? And I said, he's cutting grass. I thought he was cutting grass. He was out in the pasture. I couldn't hear him.
When she said that, it's like, oh, God, I said, man. So I turned my blue lights on, my sirens, and headed to Georgia, and I came over here, fast as I could. When I drove up here, it's covered him up with white. 2 minutes was putting a white sheet over his, They was covering him up. And I jumped out of my toe real fast. I jumped out so fast, I closed the door on my right hand, and it snatched me back. I mean, I was tunnel vision on him, And I went down there and snatched the sheet off of him. And started talking to him. And asked him, how in the world can you do this, He's been cutting his grass all his life. They've been living it all my life, I'm 57. And, but I hugged him and kissed him and told him I loved him. And there again, I was trying to get him to tell me, how can you do this, when you cut this same bank out, for years and years and years and years. So while I was down there dead on the ground, my mother, one of the paramedics told me, said, I believe your mother, I believe that's your mother coming. You might ought to, intercept her.
I run out the door, I had my pajamas on, and rollers in my hair, just shampooed my hair. I run out there and I just almost passed out. Like to kill me, it still is.
She said, no, 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 and she had started going hysterical, and then I said, I didn't know what to tell her, how to tell her. And all I could say is, Mother, he gone to heaven. And she like to pass out.
Well, I was just had gotten home. I live about 4 miles from here, and Darryl, my brother, had called me and told me that to come over here, that Daddy had been in an accident, and he said he's gone. I just come over here real quick, and everybody was already out there where it happened. And I couldn't even go down there and look real close because I knew I couldn't handle it. And that's how I found out.
Grover Cleveland Hale had been operating a zero-turn mower for 12 years.
And so he'd been cut with zero radius for basically 12 years, if not 13. So he's, really good on a mower now. That's why I didn't understand why now, Nothing different, not anything different. He just, It's not. We couldn't find anything different than how he's been cutting before.
The claim in this matter is that the subject mower was unreasonably dangerous and not fit for its intended use when operated in a foreseeable manner, namely that it did not have a rollover protection system, which was an economically feasible design, provided as standard safety equipment by numerous other manufacturers of similar mowers. The use of Cub Cadet's folding rollover protection system, which is now offered as standard equipment, also contributes to the stability of the mower when raised or when it's in the lowered position. Furthermore, the warnings are inadequate on the mower and in the operator's manual with reference to determining the degree of slope and the ambiguity of how to operate the mower when approaching a slope. One simple and inexpensive piece of safety equipment could have prevented this tragic event, and a jury will understand that no amount of money can replace this man, but whatever amount they assess must reflect the value of what was taken. The friends and family of Grover Cleveland Hale will struggle to deal with this needless loss.
Just missed him every day. You didn't have to meet him but one time, that was it. In love with him. I cut his grass and talked to him all the time. I love him.
He loved our little old granddaughter. She was about 4 or 5 years old, and he'd come out there and play with her, and she'd run, "Mr. Hale's coming." I got to run and give him a hug, and she misses him. She cries a lot. And for the longest, we sat at our back door at night, and Mr. Hale will be over here in a minute with in his lawnmower, to talk to us. But after a while, he quit coming, and we quit looking, really, because we knew it wasn't a possibility for him to come back.
I think about him every day and miss him. He's in good health and got around good, and he was just took earlier than he should have been, and he was just a loving father and grandfather and great-grandfather. He would just go out in the yard with the grandkids and take them out in a swing under the tree outside and play with them, talk to them, and he enjoyed them coming down. And you just miss him every day. It seems like it gets worse instead of better.
I know he's in heaven. He was one of the best Christians in the world. But that don't stop my pain.
She is not doing well at all. She could not stay by herself at night after dark. She married Daddy. They was married 58 years. The only time they ever separated is when he cut grass. She'll sit out here in the swing out here on this magnolia tree and watch him cut grass till he gets in the backyard, and then she comes in and starts doing her stuff. She's scared and lonely. She's very lonely. All she does, she tells me every day how much she misses Daddy, and she just wants him back. And then Daddy had told her if anything ever happened to him, or he was, die, get killed, he said, "Hey, I want us to go together." He said, "I want us to go to heaven together," and she said he wasn't supposed to leave without her.
GC, I guess, probably spoiled his wife as much as anybody would spoil their wife. He was very good and kind to her. Since his death, Dot has, she's been through obviously a lot of turmoil, extremely upset. She misses him very much, and most of the time when she's in church, it upsets her. She cries. She tries not to sit in their normal pew where they normally sit during church service, but again, you can tell that she really misses him, and it's been a terrible upset in her life.
It just feels like I'm lost. And I never went to the doctor, hardly. And since this happened, I have to go every 3 months. My blood pressure went up, and it's about to kill me. It was precious. It was my life.
Grover Cleveland Hale continues to provide for the wealth and health of his community well after his retirement. His contribution to his neighborhood, church, and family remains and will remain immeasurable.
He worked for West Point Pepperell. He was there 50 years, and he was very smart. He would invent. He invented about 3 or 4 things that saved him millions and millions and millions of dollars. And all he'd want out of it, steak supper. I mean, he's always thinking of something to do just to save or help somebody. So he went and got this little container, like a little glass container, wasn't it, Mike? And you know how cheap dye is. So he got it, and it was all water, just a couple of drops of dye would give the colors, okay, different colors. And he invented this little container, and it had a little push button on the end. When the yarn come by, it push and make it little, the color to indicate what the yarn was. So instead of buying all the chalk, you had not even an ounce of color of dye in this little glass thing that comes around and it drops. So they had 8 plants, when it was going. So you can imagine how many plants run yarn and needed that yarn marked. So that saved them, like in the years that he did, millions of dollars in the chalk.
The community misses him because of his involvement in the church and the people that he would take to church and the people that he helped lead to Christ. And that's what he was proud of. He was proud of the folks that he led to Christ. That church really missed him because he was involved in that church on a regular basis, not just on Sunday. And that's the last time I talked to him about anything. We talked about the church the whole time.
Grover Cleveland Hale lost his life on August 29, 2009 because of a company's recklessness. The Hale family will have to go on without him. Dorothy no longer has a husband. Mike and Daryl no longer have a father. All of these lives have been changed forever because of the carelessness of Cub Cadet.